Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Dahun, and if you are new to my channel, thank you for joining today's video, and make sure you subscribe. Make sure you also share this video, engage in today's video as well, and make sure when you subscribe, turn on your notification button as well so that you do not miss any content that I put together. But for those that are familiar with me and my channel, you can see that we are at a different spot at my place today. Today we are in my closet, and that's because we are going to be talking about putting together or packing your hospital bag in preparation for delivery. One of the first questions people may have is, when is the right time to pack my hospital bag? I would recommend that you pack your hospital bag as early as you're able to, right? For me, I packed my hospital bag at week 37 and I ended up going into labor at week 39. Mind you, I only was carrying one baby. However, if you have maybe multiple pregnancy, maybe twins, triplets, whatsoever, there's a higher likelihood that you may give birth before week 39, right? Or maybe even before week 37. So make sure you pack your hospital bag on time, because the worst thing that could happen, actually that's not the worst thing that could happen, but worst thing that could happen is for you to be in labor and be rushing to get things together. So make sure you pack things as early as you can, maybe towards the end of your second trimester, and if you're willing to push it, maybe early in your third trimester. The other big question people may have is, how long should I pack for? Right, so for people that do a vaginal delivery, they could expect to be in the hospital for roughly about a day after delivery, and for those that do a cesarean section delivery, might expect to be in the hospital for roughly up to 4 days. These are numbers that my doctor had shared with me. So I would say, to be safe, if you live far away from the hospital, it might be reasonable to pack for up to 4 days. The reason I say that is because the initial plan was for me to do a vaginal birth, because everything was in line for a vaginal birth. My baby was head down, my baby was not big. However, I ended up being in labor for such a long time. I ended up doing a cesarean section. So that's why I said, to be safe, it's better to pack more than you need. Of course, not too much so that you're not just carrying heavy load to the hospital, but at least it's better to pack a little bit more than you need than packing even less than you need and having to like be hustling, bustling to maybe get your husband or whoever that's supporting you to go back home to get what you need. So I recommend to pack for up to about 3-4 days, and this is especially if you live far away from the hospital. I live about 5 minutes from the hospital that I delivered in, which made things easy, because even though I ended up packing for about 2 days, because like I said, I was supposed to do a vaginal birth, since I lived so close to the hospital, my husband was able to come back home to either return some things that I already used in the hospital, so like old clothes, and bring new set of clothes for me. And that's because we're just 5 minutes away. But I've heard of people that live maybe over an hour away from the hospital. So the point is that you want to make things very convenient for yourself. All right, so now let's go to the cocoa of the video, which is the big question on what are the things that I should pack in my hospital bag. One recommendation I have is, before you begin packing stuff in your hospital bag, find out from the hospital what the hospital will be providing for you. I say that because I'm so glad I did this, and I actually have a list of some of the things that the hospital provided, which is good, because while you want to pack enough things that you need, you don't want to carry too much load to the hospital. So it's good you find out what they are providing, so that you only bring the things that you need that the hospital is not going to be providing. All right, so in terms of the things that at least my hospital provided, they provided diapers for the baby. So having said that, that means that in my situation, I did not need to bring diapers. I actually did not bring diapers at all. I did not pack diapers to the hospital. The other thing the hospital provided was swaddle blankets as well. I think just because I was a little skeptical, I took only one swaddle blanket with me. Like I packed one swaddle blanket with my things, but the hospital actually ended up providing a good number of swaddle blankets. They also provided wipes, so which means that you don't need to take wipes to the hospital. They also provided hats and socks for the baby. So basically, the hospital provided a lot of things that the baby was going to be wearing, which was pretty good. And in terms of things for the mother, the hospital provided a hospital gown. They also provided pads because you will very likely bleed for days, weeks, and of course, during the time in your hospital, you'll be bleeding, right? So they provided pads. They also provided toiletries like toothbrushes, toothpaste, mouthwash, and stuff like that. So, and in addition to this, I know that the hospital also had a breast pump that could be used. However, I did not use the hospital's breast pump. Neither did I bring my breast pump with me, which means that I basically just breastfed in the hospital. But I know the hospital also told me that even though they provided breast pump, I could feel free to bring my own breast pump if I needed a lactation specialist to show me how to use my breast pump. And that's because the hospital, they provide lactation specialists who will teach you how to not only breastfeed, but also how to pump if you need assistance with that. So now let's talk about the things to bring. So for me, even though the hospital provided toiletries, I actually still packed my own toiletries because I'm like, yeah, I want to use my own soap. I want to use my own toothbrush and toothpaste and whatnot. So I ended up packing my toiletries. So for people that are asking, oh, what to bring in terms of toiletries, so like I said, toothbrush, toothpaste, also your sponge as well, because I use a sponge to bath, bathing soap. I use bar soap, so I took bar soap with me to the hospital, and a towel. I took a towel as well, even though the hospital actually provided a towel. Something else I took along were deodorants, not the spray, but the roll-on. The reason I decided not to take the deodorant spray, I also didn't take perfume with me, was just to be considerate of the baby. Like the baby is still new to the world. You don't want to be smelling too much like fragrance. So I only took a roll-on with me. I also took lotion as well, body lotion and Vaseline with me. Like I said, I literally just took all my toiletries. In addition to that, one other important item that you need to make sure you have is your car seat. So it is required by law that when leaving the hospital, you need to transport the baby in a car seat. So make sure you order your car seat well in advance of time, just so that you will not be hustling and bustling when the time comes. In addition to that, I also took underwear with me, so like pants. I took that pants. You also need your nursing bra as well. For most people, let me speak for myself, right? When I first gave birth, my milk supply was not coming in, but I still made sure I took my nursing bra because I was still trying to breastfeed. I was still breastfeeding the baby so that could stimulates the breast and gets milk flowing. So the nursing bra makes it, you know what, while I'm talking, maybe I should show you the nursing bra. All right, so this is a nursing bra here, and what makes the nursing bra so good is that it actually has this clip, right? It has this thing you can detach to make it easy to breastfeed, and once you're done breastfeeding, you can attach it back on. So I bought my nursing bras from Amazon, very affordable, so it makes it very, like I said, easy to breastfeed. In addition to that, let me see, I've gone through pants, car seat, deodorant, lotion, bathing soap, sponge. The other thing I took, which I didn't really end up needing, was a blankets, like blankets for myself. I packed this to the hospital, but I ended up not using it because the hospital was very warm, right? And I was actually feeling hot, right? But I'll say, to be safe, maybe also take a blanket to help keep you warm. And I can show you the blankets that I took with me right here. So I took this blanket with me because you can see it's very cozy, very warm, but it wasn't needed since the hostel was actually pretty hot. There was actually a time I had to tell them to come and adjust the air conditioning. Okay, but so we've spoken about the blankets, right? Another thing I use is headscarf, right? Because whenever I sleep, I like to get comfortable. I basically just like to put my hair in a scarf. So I took a headscarf, a silk scarf, right? My African ladies will be able to understand. But I took that with me just to make sleeping easier and comfortable. Also take a phone charger, like I said, because you end up being in the hostel for some time and you need to be able to charge your phone. Another thing I took with me was, it's not a big deal, but I took makeup with me, and that's because I'm very big on capturing memories, like pictures and videos. And there were a few occasions that I took some pictures and videos with the baby. So you just want to have something to maybe touch up your looks, right? So I just took my makeup bag with me, and honestly, I ended up just using my mascara. That's all I had to use. Um, Something else to take. So for people that are very big on photo shoots for the baby, you can also take a photo shoot outfit for the baby. I say this because I don't know about all hospitals, but the hospital that I gave birth or delivered at, they actually had a photographer to basically take pictures of the baby. It wasn't for free, so that's something I would say. It was not for free, but if you're interested in that, you could also pack photo shoot outfits for the baby. In addition to that, something else we packed were additional pillows. I say that because my husband actually slept in the hospital with me, right? Every hospital is different. The hospital I delivered at only had a couch in the room, and the couch was not comfortable. I actually thought it was going to be a sofa bed, but it actually was not a sofa bed. The sofa was not comfortable, number one, and I do not remember them providing additional pillows, right? So that's something we just took with us, at least to just make my husband comfortable. Something else we took were a few snacks. And I'll be honest with you that even though we packed this, I don't feel it was really needed. I just say this because the hospital provides food for you. So they provided breakfast, lunch, and dinner. With some of the meals they provided, there were things we could save to snack on for later. So I know that there were times that maybe they would have fruits, or there will be times they would have maybe some drinks or cereal, like dry cereal, and we end up just saving the cereal or those snacks to eat for later. So even though I had snacks on my list, and even though I actually did pack snacks in my hospital bag, I didn't feel those snacks were needed. That's the truth. And I guess another reason I say it wasn't really needed is because, like I mentioned, we were staying only 5 minutes away from the hospital. So even though my husband was sleeping at the hospital, during the day he would go back home to freshen up, to bath, eat, and then come back to the hospital. So having said that, if you're staying very far from the hospital and there's a low likelihood that your husband will be going home that frequently, in addition to the things you are packing in your own hospital bag, it might be good for your husband to also pack his the items he will need, like toiletries, like change of clothes. For my husband, he did not need to pack that because we're only 5 minutes away from the hospital. So how far away you stay from the hospital could impact how many things you need to pack and how often you feel you'll be going back home. In addition to that, I also packed nursing pajamas. And when I say nursing pajamas, I'm talking about a robe like this to make breastfeeding easier, because with a robe like this, right, all you just need to do is obviously put this part of the robe to the side, right, and you can easily breastfeed. But obviously with what I'm wearing, it's very hard for me to breastfeed if I need to. So I basically just packed a robe and other outfits that would make breastfeeding easier. I also took flip-flops as well, because you're going to be walking around in the hospital room, maybe in the hospital. Honestly, I was really in the room most of the time, right? So I just got this flip-flop from Amazon. I also made sure I packed a pair, not flip-flop, but slippers for my husband as well, since he was going to be in the hospital for some time walking around. So it'd be good to have something like that as well. I also packed socks, right, for my husband and I, and this is just my own preference. I literally cannot sleep without socks. So this is something that I packed that I ended up not needing. When I say need, I ended up not needing the one that I packed because the hostel actually provided socks. This is something I did not know when I was admitted in the hostel. I didn't know they were going to be providing socks. In addition to that, I also took my laptop with me just to have and to be able to not necessarily do work, but to be able to surf the net whenever I wanted to, if I wanted to use a bigger device, a device bigger than my phone. One other item to include in the hospital bag is your nipple cream. I did not include any nipple cream in my hospital bag, but after the fact, I was regretting it because the first few days or weeks of breastfeeding was painful. My nipples were sore. So I wished I actually had started using nipple cream earlier. So that would be something you would need to put in your hospital bag. So in addition to all these things I mentioned, I know some people have had questions about what documents do I take whenever I'm going into the hospital for delivery. Something I recommend you do once again is to ask your hospital for what documents are needed, because for me, I actually did not need any documents. I asked prior. The response I got was, you've been doing your prenatal care with the hospital since, so we have everything we need. We have your insurance information, we have your documentation and whatnot, so you don't need to bring extra documentation when you're coming in to get admitted. This may not be the case for all hospitals, so that's why I'll recommend you ask your hospital, because as for me, I did not need anything. Of course, I always have my driver's license or ID with me, but there was nothing extra I had to bring. And let me see what else. Yeah, so I'll say that's really about it. And I felt, and I'll reiterate again, I probably sound like a broken record, that the reason probably the list was so short for me is because I lived close to the hospital and my husband was going home literally every day to freshen up, to bring change of items for me as well, which made things a lot easier. And for other people that have given birth recently, what items did you include in your hospital bag and why? And then which ones did you feel were most useful during your stay at the hospital, and which ones did you feel were not as useful? That'll be great to share. All right, awesome. Have an amazing rest of your day, and thank you so much for watching this video. And like I said, make sure you share so that, especially to those that may find this content very helpful, subscribe, turn on your notification, and make sure to like this video as well. Awesome. Have an amazing rest of your week. Bye.